A very common and useful daily task when handling textual data is to take a set of text files and merge them into a single larger text file, so that you can further process the whole corpus at one place instead of looping through all the text files separately. Of course, this is also pretty simple to do with other scripting languages such as Python, but instead of opening a new Python shell and import the OS utilities, I think it's much simpler to use one-liners from within the bash or any other shell terminal for that matter. So let's go ahead and do that. First of all, I will create a virtual corpus with 10 files and with minimal content on each of these files. So to create 10 text files, for instance, I will use Dutch, of course, and then the name of the files, and then I will use the braces, and notice that these braces will be expanded. And now if I go to the contents of the directory, then you'll see I'll have 10 different files. So if you go to each of these files, as you can see, there's nothing there, right? It's empty. And now let's try to use another one-liner to simply write some content in these files. So for instance, if I want to write this is the file number 1.txt within each, I will just use a for loop for a file in all the files of this directory. Do echo this is the file, and then the local variable, and then I want to redirect the output to that specific file, and I think we're done, right? Okay, so let's open again file 1. As you can see now, we have the content here. This is the file 1.txt. The same applies to every one of these small text files. And now the next step is to actually merge this small corpus of 10 text files into a single file. The easy way to do that is to use cat. Of course, the command cat concatenates the input that it is given as its argument. So let's do that. Now all files in the folder with the extension txt are read in, and through this greater than symbol, the contents of all files are concatenated, and the started output is being redirected to the file new file.txt. Let's see what we achieved so far and whether the result is satisfactory. And as you can see, the result is not as satisfactory as we would like it to be. First of all, we would like to be able to visually distinguish where the one file ends and the next begins. Some kind of delimiter between the file contents, so to speak, would be useful in a later stage of data processing. What I'm trying to say is that imagine if you had larger text files. Between these text files and this new file.txt, there wouldn't be any gap. Everything would be smoothed together. So that's not something that you really want to have. So to be able to tell when the one text starts and when the last ends, within that newly emerged text file, let's try to put a new line at the end of each file before adding the contents of the next file in the row. So to do that, we would need sed, or that's one of the possible solutions. But since I'm working on a Mac, OS X currently comes with a FreeBSD sed from 2005. In general, although Homebrew can help you install GNU versions of the commands, it basically ships with a FreeBSD version. That is why I would recommend you to install GNU sed, which is the GNU version of sed that's pre-installed on your Mac OS system. And as always, you can do that on your Mac with brew install GNU sed. I already have that installed on my machine. And never forget that Mac OS is a Unix based system and it's not built on Linux. Okay, let me clear the screen first. So to have access to the new version of sed, the enhanced version of sed, the GNU sed, that I assume that you already have installed on your machine, if you have a Mac of course, otherwise you don't need it, just type sed and it's there. You just need to prefix sed with a G in front. So the command now is gsed. So let's think ahead now of what we have to do in order to take the desired result. So we need to be able to loop through all the files, and then within each file we have to be able to go to the last line, and there we have to insert the new line and then some diacritic, like string end for instance. So let's start with the for loop, which is always the same when we have a directory of text files. So for f in all the files that end with txt, and now we need to be able to take the last line, right? And in order to take the line number, create a variable whereby a command will be expanded, and this command will take from each text, will take the number of lines, which is also the last line, right? WSU will return the size of the text in terms of lines, right? And then what I could do is just to be able to see whether it works, just to put always an equal there just to check. And now is the meat of the whole process. So now I will be using gsed, and gsed has this R option, and then I will use as always the line number where I need the substitution to be made. S stands for substitution, and then I say from this chosen line I need to go to the end and substitute it with the escape character of new line, and then this end kind of string, and then I will do that for each of the files, and I will write out the result to a new file which I'll be calling Unify.txt. Okay. Oh yeah, and then done, right? Let's see what happened to unified file where I'm expecting this to happen, and this is exactly what I wanted to see, right? I want to see the content of the first file, then end, then the second file, etc. So we did it, and it wasn't so difficult, right? Try out what we did here at your own pace and your own data, and make sure you understand the code I wrote. That's it for now. If you liked the content, a subscription to the channel would be greatly appreciated, so that I also spend a bit more time on new content.